This is episode 22 of Talk Magic to Me for August 9th, 2014. Welcome everybody to Talk Magic to Me, the critical Disney discussion podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Danielle.
I'm Prince Eric.
And I'm DJ Jazzy Jeff JD. How's it hanging?
It's hanging well because guess what?
What?
I'm deciding to take on Eric's nickname and be called Disney Danielle.
Oh, finally.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah,
So-
we waited a long time for this.
Yeah.
I know.
I've been saying that from the beginning.
You have, and I have to apologize to you because, you deserve more credit for that. So
Oh, thank
my
you.
friend.
Now your name was forever DD.
Dee Dee.
Like the
like
mom
Dee Dee
and
from
yeah,
Rugrats.
yeah.
Yeah, or I could tell you to stay out of my laboratory.
Oh, that.
At first I didn't get that, but...
No, you did. You did.
No,
You
at first
were
I really
nice.
didn't.
You know.
There was a connection there being that, what's her name? Nancy Cartwright did the voice of Dexter and Chucky.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, so you couldn't hear that? I could hear that. Also,
I-
Nancy Cartwright's most famous for what? Being the voice of one Bart Simpson.
Oh, okay.
Bart Simpson's a woman, yeah.
You guys, I wasn't raised on The Simpsons.
Yes, you were.
No, I
Everybody
wasn't.
was.
Chert to D. I mean, you guys don't know what that means. Sorry.
Huh.
Chert to D means swear to God in Italian, and I'm so used to saying it.
Well,
I'm so
you're
used
not
to saying
Italian.
No, I am. I'm Italian.
Karthauser?
Well, that's German, but I am
Yeah.
actually many things. I'm German, Italian, Polish, Russian, English,
Irish?
other things. I can't.
Europe? So you're
Well,
saying you're
Europe.
just Europe, the whole
Europe,
continent.
essentially. Yeah.
Europe, yeah, right.
Yeah, my last
You're
name's
just
German.
Europe.
Oh, Scottish. I'm Scottish too.
You're Scottish, everyone.
I'm not French though.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, because when I was in 5th grade, we had to do a heritage project. I think I told this story.
Maybe.
I feel like I told this where I just waited till the last minute to ask my parents what nationalities we were,
And you just
Yeah,
made up
sounds
that you were Scottish.
I made it that I was French.
Ah.
Yes.
And it was approved, and then I went home, I was like, guess what? I'm doing my heritage project on France. My mom's like, but we're not French.
Huzzah.
We're
Too
everything
late.
but French. Yeah.
Right.
So I basically had to go to my teacher and tell her, and I switched to Russia.
Good.
Yeah. But that's, 11-year-old stupidity, whatever. And laziness.
Of course.
Yeah, you
that
know.
classic laziness of you.
Yes, I know. I'm a lazy person, what can I say?
It's all good.
So before we get into the episode, I want to talk to Mr. Eric here, Prince Eric, because he's got a story for us that, you guys would love to hear.
Oh, very nice. I met somebody very famous over this weekend.
Ooh, who?
Who? If anybody is familiar of Mr. James Rolfe on YouTube, otherwise known as the Angry Video Game Nerd, he, of course, is coming out with his full feature-length movie, the Angry Video Game Nerd movie, which was actually his big dream to make a full-length feature movie, and this is the first full-length, big movie that he's made, so it was great to see somebody go, through with accomplishing their dream, their childhood dream. And so he was premiering it, and not premiering it because it's been shown, I think, in LA and maybe one other time, so this is the third time that it was being shown, but it was shown at the Colonial Theater right nearby here, about 40 minutes from where I live. Which is the same movie theater that the final scene from the famous monster movie, The Blob, was filmed, where everybody runs out of the movie theater and the Blob comes in. Same movie theater. So it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to go and see him in person, sort of somebody that I only know from being on the internet, and I only know as being this certain character, and there he was standing in person with, of course, all the other guys that he works with that appear in his videos a lot of the times. And so it was just really cool to see everybody there in person and to meet him. I got to see the movie. The place was completely sold out. I got to see the movie, which was a lot of fun. And then after the movie, he did a question and answer session, and then he had an autograph signing session. So I brought with me the original Nintendo game Super Mario Bros. 3, which is one of his favorite games, and I waited in line, and then when it was my turn, I went to him and I gave it to him and he signed it, and I said, "Oh, I know this is one of your favorite games," and he said, "Oh yeah, of course," and I shook his hand and I told him how much I enjoyed everything that he did. And then one of the guy's girlfriends was taking the pictures, so she took my phone and she took the picture of me with all of the guys, and then that picture is now on Facebook for those other hosts that are on Facebook with me saw that. So it was a lot of fun to meet him and to sort of, this guy is sort of my YouTube hero. He was the inspiration for the Danielle and my new YouTube channel, Generation Y, where we take a look back at all of our 90s childhood, different things that occurred then, because the main point of his channel and his web series, The Angry Video Game Nerd, is he takes you back to the past. That's sort of his tagline. He reviews really bad old video games and he gets really mad at them, and the comedy comes from how over the toply angry he gets at them and what kind of outlandish things he says about them. So I took that idea. He's 10 years older than most of us here, and so he grew up in the 1980s, so it inspired me to make my own YouTube channel about growing up in the 1990s. So it was great to finally meet my YouTube hero and a guy that I really look up to and have a lot of respect for.
Yeah, it's awesome. Should we put the picture in the show notes?
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay.
You can also see how short I am and how tall he is. I didn't know he was that tall.
Looked.
He's actually over 6 feet tall. And
I didn't think you looked that short in the picture.
Really? He might be bending over then.
Oh, okay. Eric, Angry Video Game
The
Nerd.
Angry Video Game Nerd. There's a lot of guys that are in this picture. He's the one that's holding the video game up, which he signed.
Nice.
And he's the one with his mouth open. He's holding the game up.
That's cool. That's awesome news. So now you've officially met somebody famous. How do you feel?
Pretty starstruck, honestly. Like, I honestly can't believe that I met him. Like, because you only know him as this imaginary guy that you see on your computer screen, and there he was. And I'd been watching him for years, and there he was in person, and I shook his hand, and so it was really, really sort of a starstruck moment, and I usually don't feel like that with a lot of people. I remember when I was in college, we had a 90s week, and part of the 90s week was that we got Dave Coulier, who was Uncle Joey on Full House. He came to our campus and he did a stand-up routine, and I got tickets to it with a couple other people, and so that it was sort of the same, but I didn't get to meet that guy. I got to see him in person, and he came out on stage, but then afterwards he just left. This guy, I actually shook his hand and took a picture with him and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Sounds like you had a good week.
Oh, I did. Danielle was going to come with me. I had one other ticket,
I know.
and so I sadly had to go by myself because nobody was available to go.
Yeah.
But that was okay.
Birthday.
It was a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've never really watched The Angry Video Game Nerd. I've never really seen any of his videos. And it was also my mom's birthday.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You had told me that.
Yeah,
He has over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, and he has his own website, and it was just really interesting to see because he posted all of his old movies that he made when he was a kid with his little video camera, back in the early 90s and late 80s. Mm-hmm. And
nice.
So you get to see his sort of upbringing and where he came from, and sort of as a kid he always had all this big imagination and this dream of creating a full-length movie, and so he finally was able to do that, and it was just really great to see somebody with that kind of ambition actually have their dream be fulfilled. I saw a video that somebody made about him when he was in college, so that was in the early 2000s, and he went to college near here in Philadelphia, and in the video you see him and he's talking and he says something like, "Oh yeah, my dream would be to make sort of a film that sort of a cult following that has people in movie theaters just going nuts, screaming out the lines and laughing a lot, like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And it was really interesting because that's exactly what his movie became. All of these inside jokes and everybody yelling out all the famous lines that he always says and laughing at all these inside jokes and everything. So it was great to see somebody that, 10 years before said that and it actually came true.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that was a great story.
Oh,
Eric. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
That was Eric's story time.
Oh, yeah.
Hooray!
Here on Talk Magic to Me.
Oh, thank you.
You heard it here.
Mm-hmm.
Story time.
And with that, don't forget to check out our new YouTube channel, Generation Y, link in the description. We'll have videos coming out soon, but right now, it's sort of, you can just see what the channel's about. We have our trailer up, and it's basically just me talking, but you can go and see what the whole channel is about, and I promise that we'll have videos up very shortly.
And also, we put it in our show notes last time, but I just linked it to our YouTube channel, so if you go to Talk Magic to Me YouTube channel, you'll see Generation Y on the right-hand side.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's nice, easy to access, kind of easier than the show notes, especially if you have iTunes.
Mm-hmm. Once you go onto the channel, I must give credit where credit is due. The channel banner and all of the graphics that you see were made by Danielle, and I think that she did a really great job with it. So if you see that and think how good it looks, it was all her. I did not do that. I made the video.
Oh, thank you. You can't see me right now, but I'm bowing.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sure your cat appreciates that.
She's sitting here. She's chilling. She's sitting on, my room's a mess right now, and I have all this, recycling that I need, stuff that's, paperwork with, in my information on it that I'm gonna shred, and she's sitting on it.
Oh, very nice.
Because she just loves paper and not comfy carpet.
She loves paper.
She's such an interesting kitty, let me tell you, and she's sleeping right now, so she has no idea I'm talking about her.
Poker, wake her up.
Yeah.
She's too far. I can shoot this rubber band at her, but let's face it,
shoot
she might
the
eat
rubber
it,
band at her. Something I want to do.
I have a business card here, so I'm gonna toss it her way. See if she does. Oh, she hears it. Bella.
Yes.
Oh, she looked up at me. Hi, Bella.
Oh my god.
I won't fling anything at you. I'm just kidding.
I will.
Me 3.
Yeah. Oh wow, losers. Gone. Anyway, so yeah, today on this episode of Talk Magic to Me, we're going to be talking about a wonderful film called WALL-E. What's with the fart noise?
That was not me.
That's just how good it is.
It's as good as a fart? That doesn't sound reassuring.
I couldn't hold that in. It was so good.
Was that real?
No. But that's just how good it was.
Okay.
Is that going to be a blooper?
Oh, no, we're leaving that in.
Oh,
Good.
okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Now also, guys, be sure to stick around to the end of our episode because we have a really important announcement, so please stick around.
Or skip to the
important.
end. Well, your choice.
Yeah, you can just fast forward to the end right now. We don't suggest that, but if you want to, that's certainly an option.
Yeah, it's not the coolest
No,
thing
I'm
to
kidding.
You won't
Don't
be
do
the
that.
cool
If you do
kid.
that, whatever you're listening to this on will explode immediately.
Yeah, exactly. The universe will implode.
Alright. Yeah, they're right.
Or the iPod, the iPad, the computer, the
Yeah.
iPhone, the SoundCloud, Android.
The SoundCloud will just explode. The whole thing.
Yeah.
I believe it.
So, but let's get into our episode. And first, we're going to go into our segment, This Day in Disney History.
Alright.
Mm-hmm.
So, I have a lot for today. So, on this day, August 9th, in 1899, writer and actress P.L. Travers, the author of Mary Poppins, is born Helen Lyndon Goff in Maryborough,
Australia.
Queensland, Australia.
Yep.
I didn't know she was an actress, but okay. Then in 1930,
Well, that makes sense.
was she? I don't know much about her other than her writing. So.
Right. Well, you saw whatchamacallit, Saving
Yeah,
Mr.
but-
Banks.
But they didn't say anything about acting in there, did they?
No.
Right. No, I think they skipped over that.
Well, I have a biography about her, so maybe I'll read about it in there.
Yeah,
Probably just means she like did plays or something.
that could be, yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Then in 1934, Walt Disney presents his animators with an outline of what will be his first full-length animated film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Mm-hmm.
And included in the outline are lists of potential names and personality descriptions for the dwarves, which I thought was really cool.
Neat.
Then in 1955, the year my dad was born, well, now you know his age, whatever,
Wow.
at Disneyland, the Aunt Jemima Pancake House opens in Frontierland.
Oh, I didn't know that wasn't it. I didn't know they had that.
Well, it says that it was later known as the Riverbell Terrace, and it existed until 1962. But then it looks like it came back as Aunt Jemima's Kitchen in 1970.
Aunt Jemima.
Yeah, and she was actually there. Guests were greeted by her at the door when it opened.
Very
Aunt
interesting.
Jemima herself.
Aunt Jemima.
That's weird to think about, that she was a real person.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
like Uncle
wait.
Ben.
Uncle Ben must have been a real dude.
Yeah, famous Amos.
Yeah.
Then in 1969, the Haunted Mansion attraction opens in New Orleans Square at Disneyland.
Ooh, I love that. That's like one of my favorite rides.
That's a
I
favorite
love
of many.
That ride.
Yeah. And then going all the way to 2004, it says it's a moist day for some Disney World guests when a I know that sounds weird. When a water main on the 12th floor of the Contemporary Resort breaks.
Wow.
Oh.
That's
The
it. Have you
water-
ever been in there? That's a really big
Is that
hotel.
with Chef Mickey's?
Yes.
Yep,
That's the
so-
one that looks like a toaster.
It's an awesome hotel. Just the way they built that thing.
Yeah,
I've seen in documentaries.
it's
Is awesome.
Different than
Than
anything. We always used to we always went there to watch the water pageant parade. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And we always tried to catch him, so we would end up running around the whole Seven Seas Lagoon until we finally found it.
That's
And
awesome.
it always ended up being at the Contemporary.
That's really awesome.
Everything's so moist.
I know when I said that,
I
like
can't.
well, first of all, where my source material, that's what they wrote. So when I was reading it, I was like, maybe I
It
should
really,
change
they
that.
said moist.
That's what I just read is literally what they wrote. So, but I'm not going to tell you my source because then all you listeners would just go and look at every day. So what's the point of that, you know?
Yeah, I know, right?
That's why we don't provide that, in case you were wondering. I'm not trying to steal from the site. It's just that, you know. But seriously, that is why I don't put it in the show notes.
Seriously, though.
Yeah. And then in 2007, Disney World announces that beginning January 2008, Disney MGM Studios will be known as Disney Hollywood Studios.
Oh, it's not MGM anyway. I didn't even know that.
No.
You didn't?
No, I had no idea.
You know,
I always
I've
called
actually-
it MGM.
I've been getting used to calling it Hollywood Studios, but for a while I refused. I called it MGM. But MGM doesn't exist anymore.
Oh.
I
that's what
honestly
the roaring
didn't
lion-
really like MGM anyway because there was nothing there.
See, oh my gosh, that's so weird because I love MGM.
Yeah, me too.
There's nothing there. There's no
Are you
rides.
Rock and Roller Coaster.
See, I don't like
Star
roller
Wars.
coasters. I've never went on
Star
I
Tours.
should,
Tower of
but I was-
Terror.
Tower of Terror. I don't really like roller coasters.
What? No, it's
Rock
okay.
and roller coaster. I see Star Wars. I should have gone on, but I was like too little to go on that when we went.
Star Tours was awesome.
Star
But
Tours, yeah.
I feel like the Star Tours is a hit or miss because they have it different every ride.
Yeah.
And so, like, one time when we went on it in 2009, and we hated it. We were like, what the heck? Like, this is stupid. But then we went on again last time I went in November, and we loved it because it was different.
Oh, I didn't know.
Was it like the? Was that before? When did they revamp it? Do you remember?
Well, in 2004 when we went, it wasn't revamped, but in 2009 it was.
Okay.
There was a
So-
ride similar to that in Epcot called Body Wars, where you go in this little it doesn't actually happen, but like it's one of those motion things like Star Tours, where you supposedly go in a little capsule and it goes throughout the whole like human body, and you go through like the bloodstream and stuff.
Oh,
And so, like, my dad being a doctor, I didn't, because I was too little to go on it. He went with my older sister on it, and we're like, oh, you'll like this. It's a medical thing. You'll like it. And he came out and he was like, I hated that. Because he doesn't like, he gets really motion sickness.
oh.
So he's, like, going all over the place, and it was, like, really terrible.
Can I tell you that reminded me of the Back to the Future ride that was at Universal?
Yeah, it's similar to that, yeah.
They
I
got
never
rid
got
of
to
that.
go on that. Yeah.
Oh, stinks.
That's so sad.
Do you know
Forget-
why they got rid of that? Was it for Harry
they
Potter?
replaced it with something. No, I think they replaced it with... There was a Simpsons ride there.
Oh.
I think they replaced it with...
By the way, I don't want to get too far off track, but the Harry Potter world that they just released, when I saw a special about it on TV, that looks like really unbelievable. It's like living in the movie. The place
I
is
know.
like basically a full-scale replica of the movie. It's like you're transported to being in the movie. Every little detail about the place.
Yep.
It looks
I'm so
cool.
I'm so up to that because I listen to like all these MuggleNet podcasts,
Yeah.
and so like they're always talking about it, and they just
You go on the
speak so highly.
train and it's so cool what you do in it and the stuff they have there.
You know, I was listening to a podcast the other day talking about what if, because Disney actually tried to buy the rights to Harry Potter.
Yeah, and they couldn't. Yeah.
And they were talking about how different it would have been. And I'm actually kind of glad Disney didn't get their hands on it.
Yeah.
They would have changed it.
I think that what Warner Brothers did with it looks exactly like if, like, you couldn't make it into a living, breathing world any more than that is. Like, there's nothing different I want done to it.
Right.
That's exactly what the book is. Like, the feeling of it is what the book is supposed to be.
Right, exactly.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw Diagon Alley. Or wait, no, not Diagon Alley. What did I see? Hogsmeade. When I went there in November.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Diagon Alley is what just opened.
I think that Diagon Alley personally to me looks a lot better. I was kind of underwhelmed, to be honest, by Hogsmeade, which is a very unpopular opinion. Like, nobody was there, first of all, which is kind of cool, because you could, like, go on any ride you wanted to really fast.
Yeah.
But I kind of wanted to wait in the line because of Hogwarts Castle, which kind of sounds a little selfish, but, like, I wanted to wait in that line, so that was kind of disappointing for me. But,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just a little underwhelming, but I think Diagon Alley looks amazing.
Yeah, they get the joke shop and the wand. You can go in the wand shop.
Oh,
and
the wand shop pretty much sucks.
Really?
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, they just opened. You didn't go in there.
No, it was there before. They moved it. They have 2 now.
Oh, maybe the new one's better.
No, they basically like, reenact Harry's experience of getting his wand for the first time. So like they bring like a kid up who's in the group, and they'll do like the same thing they did to Harry.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just
Doesn't everybody buy a wand though?
you don't have to.
Oh,
It's just-
see, I would
it's-
because I'm a nerd like that.
Oh no, that
course.
part's awesome. But like it's basically only fun if you're the kid
Oh.
getting the experience. Like if you're watching, you're like, okay, this is kind of dumb, but whatever. Like I wouldn't wait in like an hour line to see it.
The joke shop
Right.
looks exactly the
Oh,
same.
that looks amazing.
Yeah.
And they have the they even have the 3 broom. No, not the 3 broomsticks.
They do have the Dream Broomstick.
What's the leaky cauldron?
Yeah,
Because
I
that's
can't
how
wait
you
for
get
that.
into Diagon Alley. Is you go behind it and there's a big open wall.
I'm excited to go there.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Disney.
Yeah, back to Disney.
We just can't help talking about
Yeah,
Harry
I know.
Potter.
You know.
Because it's awesome. So then in 2009, the Haunted Mansion celebrates their 40th anniversary by having a merchandise event. It takes place at Disneyland, obviously. And a family from Santa Clara, California, spends the night in the Haunted Mansion.
Ooh.
Interesting.
They want a night stay inside the attraction through a radio station.
People like try to like play tricks on them and like.
It doesn't seem like it. Just says they moved in at midnight and then they were there after the park closed and they stayed till 6 a.m.
Oh, that's like nothing though.
I know, I was thinking that
Right.
too.
Probably just like
But-
brought a sleeping bag and slept in the lobby.
That's what I was thinking. Like,
Seriously.
I would not want to stay there though. I'd be
Yeah, that
so
is
creeped
really
out.
creepy. Like the animatronics are all just like sitting there.
Yeah,
Like that's even creepier than when the ride's on.
yeah, exactly. And then my last one, which I kind of just had to say, in 2013, on this day, Planes, a spin-off of Pixar's 2006 animated Cars, is released to theaters. Because, you know, what better way to celebrate today?
Yeah, because that movie was so good.
I know. It's one of my favorites. I just love it, guys. No, just, I'm being sarcastic.
Of course.
So yeah, that's this day in Disney history. My no Jen today, so no theme park corner. But I just wanted to say to you guys real quick, Jen made a comment about how Pixar is really not represented in the theme parks. And I would agree with her to some extent, but don't you think it should be? Like, wouldn't it'd be cool if they had a ride, like, with Monsters, Inc., where you're, like, riding the doors?
I think that, well, yeah, actually,
Yeah.
That is a good idea. I think that it is. You have the Buzz Lightyear ride, you have the Monsters, Inc. laugh floor, there's the Lilo and Stitch isn't Pixar. There was the whole
Toy Story Mania?
Yeah, there's a whole Pixar parade.
Well, that's not there anymore, I don't think.
Really? I
don't
read that
think so.
used to be there.
No, I don't. The way Jen talks, it's not.
Well, they did have a Pixar parade, and those are characters within the park, so
Yeah.
I think it is. There's a Finding Nemo ride in Epcot.
Yeah, there is.
I just hope they don't
Crush
turn
and stuff.
Test Track into Cars.
Oh,
Test Track is
no.
such a good ride. They just really better not turn that into Cars.
You know, actually, though, they changed Test Track.
Do they still have Spaceship Earth?
Yes.
Good, I love that ride.
I do, too.
I really, really like that
Wait.
ride.
Wait a minute. Spaceship Earth, the one in the
ball.
Epcot ball?
Yeah.
I like the... Yeah.
Going at the
Yes.
beginning when you're going up, I used to always try to look back to see how far
Yeah.
up we were.
That's a great ride.
By the way, next year is anybody remembers Back to the Future 2, 2015.
Oh.
Yep.
That's next year.
Yep.
We can't control the weather though.
No.
I've never seen the second Back to the Future,
The whole beginning.
I don't
he goes,
know how.
The movie he goes to the future, and the year he goes to is not 2015. And, they can control a lot of the things, he goes on a video conference with his boss and he gets fired like that, because they do have video conferencing now. And there was, voice-activated stoves, and there was but there was other stuff, they could control the weather, and the judicial system took, a day to, put somebody in jail. And,
we control the weather if we had a big dome around the world.
Yeah.
But that's not happening.
They had, this giant, 3D Jaws thing that was, on...
Yeah.
It was that, a lot of it was, but a lot of it was actually pretty true. Hoverboards, they do have them now.
Yeah.
They also say the Cubs are going to win the World Series next year, which is, impossible, so...
But that would make me happy.
Yeah.
Poor Cubs.
I just want auto-laceable shoes.
Yeah.
They have those, they're just expensive.
It hurts
Yeah.
my back to bend
You
now.
watch next year. What was the date? October 15th? November 15th.
Yeah, I think it was November 15th.
So next year on November 15th, they're all going to show that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're right.
See,
I
what
would.
we thought that the future was going to be like, rather than what the future actually is.
The fashion.
Yeah.
Oh, man, the fashion.
Yeah. How we predicted it wrong.
Yeah, I was like, nope, not even close on that
Yeah.
one.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, you know what's even more interesting about the future?
Yeah.
Well, something that depicts the future as well is WALL-E,
Good
which is our
segue.
topic
Good
today.
segue.
Oh, thank you. I feel so proud. I would like to thank my mom for this moment.
Wow, that was so random, your mom.
Right.
She was
I
the first
guess-
person who popped in my head.
Alright.
She's the person.
And you guys, of course. Thank you. Okay, you guys. So today we're talking about WALL-E, and we have a lot of good topics today. So, Eric's topic, he's going to be talking about, will this really happen in the future? Is what WALL-E depicts what's really going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be talking about how WALL-E comments deeply on technology and technology's modern-day influence.
Mm-hmm.
And JD is talking about the future, our 4 current timelines. So I'll be interested to hear about that.
Yeah, I want to know what that is.
Indeed.
But we're first going to start with Eric's topic. So, Eric, you go ahead.
So in this movie, they depict a lot of basically humans get really fat and they can't do anything because technology has taken over, and they're lazy and they don't want to do anything. I love the part where my zippity doo-dah moment's going to be where they're splashing in the water and they say no splashing, and they're everybody they can't even walk. They're all on chairs and they take them all around, and technology does everything for them. Are we actually, is that really that much of an exaggeration? Are we really... Because it seems like today, nobody wants to get up. Everybody just wants to sit on their bed, on their laptop, or their iPhone. Nobody wants to do anything. So is it really that far off that would happen?
I mean...
Well, of course not like being in a spaceship, but like...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't... I mean, me personally, I don't think it's far off, but I think the general population, like the people that are usually represented in what we see, that is how... If we're just looking at what they do, then yes, I think that's how the world will be. But I think there are a lot of people behind the scenes that are actually not doing that we don't hear about all the time.
True.
So I don't think we're destined for that, but I think if we continue on this path...
Yeah, as a society, we're definitely slowly going more towards that.
Yeah. I don't know, what do you think, JD?
I don't think so. I
No?
think that, mankind we usually figure out how to survive, and I don't think being fat in balloons, I don't think we're going to survive very long if we do that. So
That's
there'll
true.
be a way, I think there will be a large portion, maybe, of society that's like that, possibly, but not a lot of us. It'll be like, I think, if anything, it'd be like the rich people. Like, you'd have, like, the rich people be really fat and big, and like, the people who aren't so rich would be kind of slim.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd be able to get away from the rich people quite easily.
I won't go into too much of this, because this is part of my topic, but, when you look at people predicting the future, and look at things like 1984 or something, I think that all of them have truth to them in some way, but they're not always 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think WALL-E is just another
I
part
think
of that.
we're sort of in a place in society where, like, Back to the Future, where they were predicting 30 years into the future, and they, I think, really, like, if I were to predict 30 years into the future from right now, I wouldn't have flying cars and stuff like that. It would be like it is now. There's just slight, or like, if you take now from 10 years ago, things really don't look that different. It's just what's different is iPhones and social media, and it's more subtle things that you can't directly visibly see. It's
Right.
iPhones, it's laptops. Like people say, oh well, 10 years ago, that wasn't that long ago, things weren't that different then. Well, no, we didn't. If the world then, movies weren't in black and white, we didn't all go around saying, hey, whippersnapper, and we didn't, and, music sounds like it could be from today, but you have to understand there was no Facebook, there was no Twitter, there was no social media of any kind back, like, in 2003. Nothing.
Yeah.
A lot, like, wireless internet was, like a thing, like, oh my god, you have wireless you couldn't even, like, conceive that. People didn't have, they had cell phones, but they didn't have, not everybody had them, and it's sort of like an iPad today where a lot of people have them, but it's not commonplace. It's not assumed that just everybody had a cell phone. Nobody had iPhones. And so I think when predicting the future, we have to look for, so what changed in the last 10 years was communication and how information is transmitted, not really in how we act, because I think that as a society we already changed as that way between the 50s and the 60s. We don't really act any different from 10 years ago. What's going to start happening is slight changes in technology and more subtle things like that.
And that's a really good point, because, like you said, really, in certain, like, behavior, we're not that different.
Yeah, we aren't, yeah.
Yeah, because, I was actually talking to my mom and grandma about the news the other day, and, this gets brought up a lot, how all these terrible things have been happening recently, and, of course, at least people of the older generation I've been talking to keep saying, oh, it's the end of the world, I've never seen it this bad. And I say, my defense is, well, we live in a society that, we live in a small world now, we're so connected.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of these things have been happening, but they go unnoticed, at least in the 50s and 60s. Like, look at, like, Hitler. A lot of Americans were blind to what he was doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's because information wasn't as widely spread.
Right.
So...
I also think that another thing that's changed is, I remember, like, being, if you look at another Back to the Future reference, if you look at the end of Back to the Future 1, where he gets back to his own time in 1985, his older brother is maybe about, 24, 25, I'm 24, and he's sitting there at Marty gets up and he goes out, and his brother's sitting there in a full suit, like reading the newspaper with his legs crossed, and he has his coffee, and he's like, oh, well, I always do this on the way to the office. And that's like somebody that's like my age. I think that the internet and iPhones has made older ages that were once this very mature, more classy adult age. Like 30 years old in 1997 is not 30 years old now. 30-year-olds now, they act so young and so much like college kids. 30-year-olds even if you watch like the show Friends, they act a lot more mature than if you watch How I Met Your Mother. You know what I mean? And they're like around the same age because of cell phones and iPhones becoming commonplace and like texting and internet memes and YouTube videos not only being a kid thing, but being an everybody thing. Like, they show them on the news, the nightly news, like, oh, YouTube clip of the week.
Yeah.
You see these, like, really professional, like, older guys, oh, here's our YouTube clip of the week. Watch as this dog snicks this baby. And so it's being immature is becoming more of a society change.
And I'm so glad you actually brought up Friends, because me being like a huge fan of Friends, oftentimes I will defend the first 5 seasons and say ignore the last 5, because if you look at Friends came out at a time, like, it started in 1994, ended in 2004.
Yeah, I remember
and that was
ending,
a big gap. And so when it started, they're very classy adults, I think, the Friends. Yeah, they're silly, but they're classy. They
drink coffee. They drink coffee. They all have office jobs and wear shirts and ties and like if you think of like Uncle Joey on Full House, he's supposed to be like 32 or 33 years old, and he's acting like he has all these cartoons, and he's acting like, you know, this little kid, and he was made fun of because of that. If you look now on YouTube, that's like everybody, and it's commonplace. You don't even like think of like, oh, there's the man child. No, it's just like that's 32-year-olds now are like really into retro things and cartoons that they watched when they were kids, and Transformers and everything like that. And so it's not seen as like, oh, that's that one specific person's thing is that they're a man child. No, it's just commonplace that they act. 32 now is a more immature acting age than 32 was 20 years ago.
Right, but what I was going to say is also that even like when you look toward the ending seasons of Friends, you see that almost they become less mature as the seasons go on.
Right, because we're starting to get into that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like at the end of How I Met Your Mother, they're supposed to be like almost 40 years old, and they're all still like sitting at the bar telling all these jokes like they're college kids.
Yeah.
Like half of them, like, okay, first of all, Lily, you're a mom. You have 3 kids. You're 40. Like,
yeah, a lot of shows fall victim to that, which is interesting.
Even like now, like if you want, and another, this is the last thing on this topic, like because I don't want to go on too long, but like Girl Meets World, I was watching another newer episode of that, and like if you watch the Boy Meets World, the parents were parents. The dad was a dad. The mom was a mom. They were like older. They dressed their age. They did typical parent things. Now, like Topanga comes in and like she's dressed like a 16-year-old girl with this like t-shirt and blue jeans and her hair's all done, and like they don't look like she doesn't look like a mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's also, I've been keeping up with Girl Meets World as well, and what I will say to that is that like I've noticed in Girl Meets World, there's a very childlike essence to how Corey and Topanga come to their parenting, and they're like, they don't know what they're doing. Whereas the parenting in Boy Meets World, and again, I didn't watch that show like very much, but what I have seen is they often don't know what they're doing either.
But it's done in a more adult way.
They come at it more adult.
Yeah, because I think that they actually they were like mid to upper 40s in that show. That's how the ages the parents were supposed to be. And right now they're like in their early 30s. I honestly think I personally think that it was. I understand what they like were going for, but I think that it was like a little too early. Like a 33-year-old people that are married have like a 13-year-old daughter. I think that they should be more in the stage where they have like a baby. They don't have like a daughter that's in 7th grade.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very interesting concept.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we'll have to see what happens. But yes, thank you, Eric.
That was fun.
For that lovely topic.
Oh, yeah.
So now we're going to go into mine, and I will admit that my intro to it is a little long, but I hope it will matter once we get into discussion. Wow.
Kitty.
You're bored already? Okay, let's just stop.
I'm already asleep now.
Okay, so as our listeners know, we interviewed Robert Velarde, and I have a quote from his book, The Wisdom of Pixar, from his chapter from WALL-E, where he said, "We live in a world where there is more and more information and less meaning." And I wanted to tackle this idea. I recently just read The Hunchback of Notre Dame, and in that there's a part where Frollo, first of all, and I won't go too far into this, but he is really not a bad guy to begin with. He's very multi-layered, and he talks about the book destroying the edifice. And what it means is that that at the time when this book was written, the printing press was coming out, and that's new technology, the printing press. So he was afraid that the written word was going to destroy the church, that what they had now, the oral tradition, was going to be destroyed because of books and printing. And this is something that has been feared for years after. Every time there's new technology, we fear what the outcomes will be. And when you look at things, the book is a really good thing. I love to read. It really has brought a lot of nourishment into my life. And that's great. And technology today, YouTube videos and Twitter and podcasts and stuff, it's people coming together in a community and uniting. And that's something really cool that technology can do and influence creativity. But if you're going back to what Frollo says in the book as well, think of things like MIT just created something, a literary vest, I think it's called, where when people wear it, it makes you feel what you're reading.
Ooh.
Which to me is, I personally, and I'll get your thoughts on this once I finish, but I think it's kind of scary, to be honest, because the whole point of the book is that you're supposed to feel from what is written, and I just think it's so wrong. But there's also things like 3D printing, where apparently you can print food for third world countries.
Awesome.
You just think about that, and I'm not going to go into all that, but that's just one of the things technology can do. But there's that moral thing where, well, does it give nourishment, that food that's printed, and all this other stuff? So technology in itself, if you look at things like the MIT vest or the 3D printer, essentially what those things are doing is making things easier for us. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
That they're making things easier?
Yeah.
So essentially, that is technology, making something that we were doing before fine easier. So with WALL-E, we see this as well. They basically were trying to make things easier in the movie. They had WALL-E himself cleaning up the trash, the robots doing everything. They had a spaceship that was doing everything for them. They had chairs that's doing everything for them. Projectors that are doing everything for them. It's making things easy, but really is it good for us? Because, texting makes things easier for us, but let me be honest. I hang out with my friends sometimes, and all she does is text and doesn't actually talk to me.
Yeah.
So you're probably wondering now, oh my god, her intro's so long, where is she going with this? Well, I just have a quick thing to talk about, and that is what Eric was talking about this disappearance between, a 30-year-old, it doesn't really act like a 30-year-old that we viewed in the 1990s or 1980s or something. There's a book written by Neil Postman called The Disappearance of Childhood. And he basically talks about technology of the TV and visuals destroying this idea of childhood, that kids are growing up too quickly.
Yeah.
And it's because of the things they're seeing on TV.
Yeah.
You can see this in Monsters, Inc. when, if you guys remember, the little kids watching TV, and they said human children are getting harder to scare because they're growing up too quickly. They realize, monsters aren't real at an earlier age than usual, which is very interesting.
Mm-hmm. I would say if you watch a lot of current Disney Channel shows, and this includes Girl Meets World, a lot of it is like all of this, and these kids are supposed to be in like middle school, maybe high school, but mostly they're in middle school, and they use the word dating so much, and these are like little kids, like 12-year-old kids, and they like talk about it like seriously like a 25-year-old would, and I think that that's something that that it goes along with what you're saying about the disappearance of child. But I remember being in like 7th grade, and nobody used that word. Nobody talked about that word. It was done in a very playful, childlike way. Oh my God, he likes her. Like it was done like kids did it. And now there's no divide between the way kids act and the way people in their 20s and 30s act. They all act the same, and it's because of the unifying nature of iPhones and the internet and texting language. Like saying like BRB and LOL used to be just like it's seen as a teenage thing. Now everybody does it. You have people in their 40s and 50s doing that. And so it's no longer a kid thing, and what that does is that brings the maturity level of the people that are older down, because doing that in itself is an immature thing. That's why kids were the ones that did it first. Now that everybody does it, it brings it down to its own immature level.
Right. Yeah, and also, before I end this, and I'll get your opinions more thoroughly on this, but one thing is that visual media, and you guys probably already know this, but I could watch a movie with my little cousin. Say I watched Titanic.
Mm-hmm. That was just on the other night, by the way.
Oh, it's always
I normally don't like... I had this big... I didn't like it, but I actually gave it a chance and really watched it, and I actually really enjoyed it.
It's a good movie.
It's a really... I don't think it's like what everybody says, but it's a good movie that leaves you with a good feeling, and it is actually an intelligently made film, unlike most movies of today.
Right.
And I'll give it a lot of credit for that.
Well, I will say that movie, as you guys know, that has a sex scene in it. If I'm sitting there watching it with my little cousin, who I think he's 8, he's going to, whether or not he really knows much about sex, he's going to view that scene just the same as I am. We're not going to see anything different. But it's our worldviews that are different, and that's why childhood, Postman says, is diminishing, because they're seeing things that really, because they're available to them. They could go to TNT today and see Titanic on and see Rose naked. Maybe not on TNT, but maybe if they have HBO. YouTube, yeah, exactly. But then we could also watch Barney together. We could watch them sing about peanut butter and jelly,
Barney.
But that's what I mean. Whether we're watching Titanic or Barney, me and that 8-year-old are seeing the same thing. So, real quick before I finish this, and then I'll stop my ranting. You guys, I don't know if you've read 1984 or Brave New World.
Yeah, I've read 1984.
1984, yep.
I had high school, yeah.
Yep.
But do you guys know anything about Brave New World?
No.
Okay, I've never read either book. They're on my list, but I do know what they're about. And as you guys know, 1984 is about how, the government's oppressive. They take things, they're big brothery, I guess. They take things away from us. They ban books. Where Brave New World takes a different approach and says that no, the government's not going to do that, but it's the things that we love that are going to oppress us, meaning the technologies we love. And I think that's really interesting, because I think WALL-E does that for us. So, going back to what Frollo said about the books killing the edifice, I love books, but if you think about it, books changed the way the church were. Books changed everything. And technology does that, whether we love it or not. Mm-hmm. And so I was wondering what you think about WALL-E. If you think, does it take a 1984 approach about, our government oppresses us? Or do you think that they ended up that way because they loved their oppressors? Or was it both, do you think? Because I'm kind of under the impression that it was more toward Brave New World, but I'd be interested of your thoughts about that.
Well, I mean, didn't we ruin the environment? Wasn't it more of an environmentalist message about how we ruin the environment? So I would assume we ruined the environment because of technology.
Right, yes, I'd say it's more Brave New World.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I would go with that.
I don't know, what are you thinking, Eric?
I think that they sort of did it, they loved their oppressors, and they did it to themselves because they listened to what they said. They all followed them, and they all went in the ship, and they all stayed there. And none of them, until the captain, none of them sort of rebelled against them. They all sort of just accepted what it is they said to them.
Right. And it's interesting, I mean, just to me, watching WALL-E, talking about this disappearance of childhood, WALL-E itself is, reaching out to that, it's meant for kids, but adults can watch it too. Mm-hmm. Which is what's kind of great about Pixar, that it can reach both audiences. which is kind of perfect for this topic. But I just, when I watch the movie, I definitely fear, like sometimes, like I have an iPhone. I won't lie that sometimes when I go to bed, I'll play a game before I go to bed, and I feel addicted, like I have to play it.
Yeah.
Like, I know I have some kind of addiction to my phone, and I really don't want a smartphone, but part of me doesn't want to let go.
At first, I didn't want a
smartphone. I didn't want an iPhone.
My parents made me get one, yeah.
Yeah, once you get it, it's like, wow.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I had a BlackBerry, and I remember BlackBerries at the time, that's when they were, like, getting kind of crappy. So I had a crappy BlackBerry, and my friends all had iPhones, and I was so jealous. And I was the one who didn't get the iPhone on purpose, but I was jealous.
Huh.
So I think we do, I personally think, just from my experience, from what I've seen, like I said, my friend, I meet with her, and she's on her phone 24/7. Mm-hmm. And Eric, don't say her name, but I bet you know who she is. I'll cut this out too. Just the other day, we were at lunch or dinner together, and she had her phone sitting on the table, and I was telling her a story, and she's just talking, she's texting, and I'm like, and she looked up and she nodded, but she did not.
See, the thing is that, like, that's just, like, commonplace. Like, you can't eat somewhere without putting your phone on the table.
Right.
I put mine away.
Yeah, I hate it. I really try not
mine
to.
Away.
Because it makes you think that you need it more than you do, and, like, it's sort of going to be like a Terminator thing where the technology takes over.
Dun, dun, dun,
because,
dun, dun.
Yeah, exactly. It really is.
I could see that.
Because we're all being slaves to it.
Yeah. Exactly. That's a really good point.
And this is another thing of why I miss the 90s so much, why I love the 90s so much, is because we had, towards the end of the 90s, we had the internet, but it was on the phone line, so you couldn't go on it for very long. It was really slow. There was nothing on it. So it was like, it was there as a tool, but in how it was, it limited itself. You couldn't stay on it all the time, but we still had it.
Yeah.
Like, we had it, but it was limited.
And we couldn't do with it what we can do today, of course.
Right.
But and that's the thing. I love the internet. Like, the internet is, like,
it's the best.
It's like part of my job. It's part of this podcast. Like, if I didn't have the internet, we couldn't do this podcast, obviously. Mm-hmm. And so that's something good about the internet. I think the internet creates very good things. Mm-hmm. But, like, the other day, I was on YouTube watching, there's a new Disney movie coming out called Into the Woods.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys have heard of it.
Yeah.
And
isn't it a musical?
It is.
Yeah.
And there's awesome music in the trailer, and I was like, oh, what music is this? And literally, I was having a conversation with a person. Another person entered the conversation and said, what do you mean? Like, they were confused about what I was asking.
Wait, so this is like a comment?
Yeah, this is a comment. And so the other person I was having a conversation with, like, explained what they meant, like, what I meant, in, like, quotation marks and stuff. And the person flipped out and thought that this person explaining themselves was being mean.
Huh.
And I was sitting there, I read the comment, I'm like, oh my gosh.
These are typical, like, internet trolls.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, what the internet creates is self-conscious people, and...
Well, because
like,
everything, unless you put, like, a happy face after everything you write, it all seems generally mad.
Which is, yeah, exactly. Which, you know, Eric.
It naturally sounds mad. Anything that you write, like, specifically you, I always think
I know.
mad.
I know,
and then
I'm
you,
such
like, get on and you're like, oh no, I'm not mad at all.
That's true. That is kind of true.
I'm a mean texter. Everybody, like, my friend, even my friend Amanda was like, you seem really mean over texting, but then I talk to you and you're fine.
Yeah.
So, I'm a mean texter. I apologize. I don't know why it comes across like that.
Such a jerk.
I try to come across so friendly, and then somebody's like, wow, you seemed really mad. Like, no, I didn't.
I like
I'm not
it.
mad. But yeah, you're right. Like, that's a different type of communication, as you were talking about, Eric. If the form of communication changed. But I'm just saying that the internet creates creativity, but it also creates this new thing in us that makes us very jealous and self-conscious.
Is that we were created without the internet. Like, we as a society were perfectly fine without the internet, and I think that we were more intelligent without the internet. If you look at the movies that came out in the 90s, there were a lot of really bad movies, like stupid ones. Yeah, they were, but at least those movies were, like, trying. The ones now are, like, purposefully everything is made to be really stupid. Like,
I
it's made so non-intelligently. There's no, like, original story that's intelligent.
I don't think that's true.
Really?
Yeah, I would... Because I think even things like a lot of the movies coming out, I think, lately in popular culture have been better.
Oh, yeah. They definitely
and not
are.
only... Yeah, and, like, look at, like, a movie. I haven't seen this yet, but... Actually, okay, think of a movie I just watched. It's called The Way, Way Back.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
But see, like, the intelligent movies are the ones that you don't hear of. I've never heard of that.
Well, yeah. Well, The Way, Way Back was from the director, I think, of Little Miss Sunshine and Juno. I watched that movie. I'm not a fan of those two movies, but The Way, Way Back I loved. It was amazing, and it was a popular movie. I heard of it, but again, like, it's just like, okay. But think of movies like Her. I haven't seen that movie yet,
that movie was fantastic.
Yeah, I can't
wait to... I own it. I'm going to watch it. I have it sitting right in front of me.
Yeah, that was
just like,
good.
You know what I mean? Like if you go back and you look at the in the 90s, there was like a period of time when like Shawshank Redemption, Jurassic Park, Forrest Gump, all these movies were in the movie theaters at the exact same time.
Right.
Like it wasn't like one at a time, like, oh my god, this movie's actually an intelligent movie. Every movie that comes out is like, if it's not in like The Hobbit and stuff, I think those are good movies, but those aren't original stories. There's no
neither is Shawshank Redemption.
I know, and Jurassic Park for that matter.
Yeah,
Forrest Gump was though. And
no, I think that was a book too. Wasn't it?
No,
I think that might have been original.
That was
original.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was original.
I don't really like Forrest Gump though.
Really, I like that movie.
It's okay.
I've never seen it in full. But I.
Like a kids movie back in like the 80s was like The Goonies. That was such like a classic kids movie.
But I don't think that movie holds up.
No,
really, I love that movie.
It's like
like
the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies that were out.
No,
they're okay. Yeah,
the first one I thought was good. The third one,
the first one was good. But it's like a lot of people with the new one coming out, they're like, "Oh, this movie's terrible. It's ruining my childhood." I was like, "Did you see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3? That was bad."
No, that was bad, and people at the time thought it was bad.
Awful.
Yeah, the one that's coming out in August they don't look like the Ninja Turtles. Their faces look so weird.
It sounds terrible.
It looks
Their
really...
theme song. It's like a rap.
Oh, the shell shot. Oh, that was bad.
No, but like they don't look like the Ninja Turtles.
Right.
Every other movie, they at least look like them. These look like different characters.
Hey, actually, okay, not to totally go off topic, but I have to send you guys this video real quick.
Okay.
I've been saving my home videos because I want to save them in order of the year that they come out and stuff. And I just found one of me when I was like 1 year old, and the Ninja Turtle was like with me.
Yes.
And it's such a creepy video. Like he looks so scary. Let me get it real quick because here it is. And I'll send you the link because it's like from the very beginning, so you don't need to watch the whole thing.
All right.
And I'll put it in the show notes.
Back when we were like a year old, that's when Ninja Turtles was really big.
Exactly, yeah.
Yep.
Here.
I'm not even alive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, when is this? Let's see. This video was shot. Oh, okay, so you're alive in this video, JD.
Oh, okay, good.
1991.
Good.
Oh, you saw that.
Oh, that is creepy. That's you? Creepy? Wait a minute, that's you as a baby?
That's me as a baby. But,
yeah. That's really creepy. That's really creepy. Where is this?
Right.
I don't know. It's a baby modeling thing.
I had that Ernie doll.
Oh, really? I loved Ernie. I was at a baby modeling thing. My parents wanted me to become a baby model.
Baby modeling?
Man.
But
is that your mom?
But if you see...
Ninja Turtle.
Yeah. But if you watch...
You don't do anything as a baby.
Exactly. If
you're such a boring baby.
No, I was actually a fun baby.
No, you're not doing anything.
That's the reason they couldn't have me model, because there I wasn't, but in my other videos, I'm actually very lively. I'm a very hip baby. I danced.
Yeah, alright.
I like, couldn't stop talking. Oh, you dropped Ernie. You let go of it.
No!
That Ninja Turtle thing was really creepy.
Yeah, I'll put that in the show notes.
It's like waving.
Ridiculous. I'm like, look
Isn't
at this
that
fashion.
Yeah.
This 90s fashion.
Yeah. Oh, you see my mom.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, dude, 90s. It's so 90s. Oh,
but you know what I mean? Like, if you look at, like, if you look at your mom here and compare her to, like, the moms now, like, the moms now are, like, all on their, like, I worked at a summer camp this past summer. It just ended. And we took a trip to Ocean City, New Jersey, and there was this one mom. This kid was, like, 12. He was, like, older. He's, like, 12. He was in middle school. And this mom looked like, not looked like, but she was, like, acting like and dressed like a 19-year-old girl that, like, I went to college with. Like, she had, like, her she came in the morning. She had like her straightened hair with like her Starbucks coffee, and she was on her iPhone, and she like talked like this, and oh my god, like, and she literally talked, and she like had this like she was a mom.
Yeah,
and that's, you know what I mean. Like moms aren't moms anymore.
Well, also because I hate to say this, and we won't even go into this topic, but the fact that there are a lot of moms who are a lot younger. Like my mom had me when she was, well, I don't know how your moms are, so I can't speak to that.
Had my oldest sister when she was 32 and me when she was 36.
My mom when she was 28.
Okay, still, my mom was 27. Yeah.
But see, my parents were married when they were 26, and like I used to think like, oh my god, 26, that's such an adult age. Now I look at 26, and I'm 24, and I still think like, oh, 26 is such like a kid age. I don't think of like ages that are above me as adult ages anymore. But back then, like even when I was like 12, somebody that was like 14, I used to think they were so old. Now I think that somebody that's like 30, I'm like, oh, they're still a kid. Like they're not very old at all because everybody acts the same. It's okay to be immature. You used to be like, oh no, like this older kid's gonna think that I'm acting like a little kid. I can't do this certain thing. Now everybody acts the same, so it's like, who cares?
Well, I think it's also perception. Like when I was 13 and I went to the Jump 5 concert, one of the members was 16 and she was making a speech, and I remember looking up to her and thinking she was so adult. And then I look back to when I was 16 and I really had no idea what I was doing.
But like a couple of years ago, like when I was a freshman or sophomore in college, I was like 18 or 19. Somebody that was like 22, I would think was so old.
No, yeah, you're right. I mean, I think
now anybody, even somebody who's like 34, 35, I don't think they're like old at all.
I think that's also though us growing up.
I don't think so because I was like 19, 20, and I thought that people that were 22 were really old.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For me, it has to do with like how everybody acts.
I don't know. For me, like I look at my grandma and even my mom. Both of them were married when they were 20. My grandma will bring that back. She'll say, "What are you doing? Like I was married when I was 20. What are you doing?" But I think
that was a different time. Like my grandma was married when she was 19. So
right, exactly. It was a different time, and
they didn't go to college. Women didn't go to college. You know.
And I think also you're right about like the adult child thing. I think though for me at least, I think it's just because I'm getting older. It felt like I'd be farther along. I'd be a more adult now, and I'm almost 24. And I'm not married.
I don't think so. For me personally, I don't think so. And I don't think so because, like, just a couple years ago, I thought people that were anywhere older than me were really old. And now I don't think that people that are, like, 10 years older than me are old at all.
Right.
Right.
Well, we've talked about my topic way too long. Let's move to JD's topic now. So you take it away, JD.
All right. Well, there's been a lot of research done about the future and what the future's going to be and all that good stuff. And right now we have 4 timelines that we could possibly enter. We're headed towards one very specifically. It's not the best timeline, but you know we'll survive it. But there's 2 that are really a possibility and 2 that are kind of far out. They could still happen, but just really not likely. So the first one we have is the one that everybody knows, the post-apocalyptic future. You know, Mad Max, you know, WALL-E in this case, sort of. You know, things where everything's just bad. Terminator, that sort of thing, where everything's just bad. There's just nothing, you know, we messed up. Everything's just broken, and we failed. But that's, again, one of the least likely ones. Then the second one that we are currently heading towards is called creative descent. That's where all the ice, you know, in the polar ice caps and all that stuff, they melt, and the world becomes the world floods, but people survive. And it's going to be, you know, I don't know if you ever heard of Waterworld. It's this really old movie in the 90s.
Yeah, with Kevin Costner.
Yeah, Kevin Costner. Yeah, I think
Nostalgic
you know about that. Yeah, that's right. That is apparently the world we're currently heading towards, something like that. And there'll be a very big distinction between rich people, poor people, and like the rich people live in like big cities, kind of like the Hunger Games. They'll live in like big, extravagant places, and there'll be that huge gap between rich and poor people. So that's the one we're currently heading towards. Not looking so good, right? Now we have another one that we could enter. This one's less likely, but it can still very much happen. I think it's called, like, eco something. It's like green eco or something like that. I can't remember exactly the name. But it's where we use, like, you know, eco-friendly things and, like, solar energy and all that sort of stuff. Just really, really, you know, hamper down on that stuff to really reduce our carbon footprint and stuff like that's kind of returning a lot of, you know, a lot of stuff back to the earth, and I think maybe doing something with the polar ice caps. I'm not sure if that was involved in it or not. And, you know, so everything's okay. It's not the best, but we're working with what we have. And the last one, I just call it the Star Trek future. It's called the Star Trek future, where technology doesn't just help us, but it makes everything super better. And, you know, the distinction between rich and poor is almost, like, it's very small. So then mankind is free to pursue your goals. Like, you don't have to worry about where your next meal's coming from or, you know, what you're going to do for money. You can just go, I'm going to go to school and I'm going to be a painter. And that's what I'm going to do. Because we all have, you know, everyone has enough food and money and, you know, things to do everything. And then we can explore the stars and all that stuff. Now, that one and the post-apocalyptic one are the two most unlikely futures.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and then the green eco one and the creative descent are our two most likely. So I'm like, that's pretty interesting when I learned about that.
I've never heard of that, so that's really cool.
Yeah. I was like,
kind of wish we would be the last one.
Yeah,
but...
I think everybody does.
Yeah.
Unless we discover something, you know, where aliens come down and be like, here, bros.
Yeah.
Take some of the spaceships.
Hey, if you think about it, you know, WALL-E's also kind of going toward the last one, because, you know, robots and humans are working in harmony.
Right, towards the end. So yeah, it kind of works its way around.
Yeah.
So it could work.
That kind of scares me.
It does, but we won't have to worry about that so much. It's our, you know, our kids and their kids that are really going to have to deal with a lot of that.
Yeah. And that's true.
Yeah.
And WALL-E does speak to that with its eco message and stuff. So, that's the flooding thing.
Yeah.
How would we survive? Like, would we have, like,
we would have, houses? Basically, like boat houses, and we'd have, you know, everything be run on the water, so we'd have our own little boats and our little shacks that float and all that stuff.
That would be like returning to the beginning almost. Like, I hate to bring it, but like almost like Noah, because how would we have internet?
Yep. Yeah. All that stuff would be gone. All that. We'd have very few technologies. It would be like starting over. But again, like those big cities or those cities that are above, you know, a certain sea level, they'd probably be okay, and they'd, you know, survive and make these big old dumb societies for rich people.
That's true. No, yeah, Louisiana would be done for.
Oh yeah. Oh, forget about that.
Yeah.
Joints are wiped out. Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was like, let's just hope, you know, the good stuff happens.
I really hope so. I think about that constantly.
Yeah.
So, which I shouldn't be, but people keep saying, you know, I do interact with a lot of people who are very devout, like Bible Belt people.
Yeah.
And they like talk about, the end of the world's coming. The forget what it's called.
Apocalypse or
not the apocalypse. Okay. It's something else. The rapture.
Oh, rapture. There it is. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, the rapture's coming, and I'm like, oh, God, don't talk about that, please. Like, so, hopefully we're going in a good direction.
You know, I'd hope so.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough to tell right now.
If you could say, which direction would you want to go in, and which direction do you actually think that we're going in?
Ooh. Okay. Well, I would like it to be, because I want to speak from like a realistic standpoint. I would like it to be like the eco-friendly option, you know, where we use like the solar energy and stuff. Because I really don't think that the Star Trek future is very likely within our lifetime. It could very well happen, but we won't see that again unless aliens are a thing and we meet them within the next couple decades and they're friendly. Yeah. So, you know, all that stuff.
Hey, the Pope says so.
Yeah. Or if they're even intelligent enough to have that. So who knows?
Yeah.
So, you know, I would hope so. But realistically, maybe the creative descent one.
Yeah.
Simply because those ice caps are melting.
They are.
And we're not really doing a whole lot about that.
No, global warming's a real thing.
Yep, and everyone's just like, cool. They're just going about their business. Because, again, we're not going to have to worry about it. It really won't be our problem, because we'll be dead.
I think that it's, if anything, the most realistic one seems like the one with the water.
Yeah.
Honestly. Because that's actually scientifically been shown that, like, that is happening. So I think that that's the one that we're leaning the most towards. Which can't be, like, won't be, like, a terrible thing. I mean, kind of cool to live in that kind of world.
It is interesting when you think about...
Because you actually could live that way.
Yeah, you can survive.
Yeah. Like the other ones.
It's just there's a lack of government, so there's a tad of disorder going on. A little bit.
Hey, Game of Thrones style.
Yeah, a little worse than that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Very nice. I guess that ends our topics then.
Yay!
These were some pretty deep topics, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Good, right?
But for a pretty deep movie, so I'd say it's pretty well worth it. What would you guys say on a scale of 1 to 10? How would you rate WALL-E?
7.
7? Okay.
Yeah, 7.5, 8.
Okay, I think I'm gonna say 8.5 actually.
All right.
It's one of my favorites. I was gonna say it was my favorite, but that goes to Toy Story 2. At least of now.
All right.
So, yeah.
Not bad.
Very nice. So why don't we move to our zippity doo-dah moments?
Okay.
So who wants to start out?
I already said mine. It was when they said no splashing.
That's true, you did.
Let's see. I don't know. That's you know what? I think I like it's like a really quick moment when I guess the computer's talking to the captain on the ship, and it just shows like the captains, all the captains who run the ship, and you just see them get progressively fatter and fatter as it goes down the line. I love that. Yes. I was just like, man, it's just that's such a powerful image that's done really quick. And it's just it's not paid too much attention to, but it's like, wow, look what happened.
Yeah.
Like, look at that.
By the way, how many years was it that they were traveling?
700.
700?
They're living in, I think, 2815 AD.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I think, the year it's supposed to be. I think my favorite moment is also with the captain, where he's watching all, like, those videos saying, like, what's dancing?
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
And I love how he, like, says what's dancing, and then at the same time you see WALL-E and Eve outside the ship dancing.
Yeah.
I just thought that was such a good transition, and such a beautiful scene. The music was beautiful. Mm-hmm. The animation was stunning, and I just really loved it.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. It's very good.
But yeah. So those are our zippity doo-dah moments.
Mm-hmm.
Now let us move to the question of the week. And last week's question was brought to you by me. And I asked if there was any food in a Disney movie that you would want to make or eat or just have all the time, what would it be?
Huh.
I was going to say one of the ones that was listed when in Be Our Guest, when they say beef ragu, something flambe.
Oh, cheese souffle.
That's what I want.
Yeah?
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I've had the gray stuff, and it is delicious.
Oh,
At Be Our Guest restaurant, they have the gray stuff. You
Does
can
it
really
say
order
the
it.
gray stuff?
I hope it says the gray stuff.
Well, it used to. They kind of changed it where now it's like a cupcake, but
What
the gray
is
stuff
it?
is... It's just icing.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is. It's icing on a cupcake, but it's amazing. The Be Our Guest restaurant, I'm just going to say right now, is the best restaurant by far to me.
All right.
At the Magic Kingdom, at least, I'll say. One of the best in the entire Disney World, I think. But we went there twice because we loved it so much. We didn't intend to do it twice.
That's good.
So hopefully when we all go,
Yeah.
we should definitely go there and have the gray stuff.
I don't see why not.
It's delicious.
The gray stuff.
I'm just going to say right now, just because we were watching Ratatouille last time, Ratatouille is something I've always wanted to try.
Yeah.
And I will be trying it soon because I'm making it for my mom's birthday.
Oh.
One of the gifts I got her was making her meals.
Okay.
I'm going to make Ratatouille.
Interesting. Gonna have to tell us how that turns out. Maybe cook it for us,
I would love to do that because it looks really easy. It has eggplant in it.
Yeah.
So I've never had that.
Interesting.
But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But what about you, JD?
That's a hard one. Oh, you know what? I got it. I got two. Either Pizza Planet Pizza.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
I think of that.
Or whatever fruit Rafiki was eating in the beginning of The Lion King. I don't know what that is.
Oh, yeah,
the like gourd?
Yeah,
that's what it was? I thought it was a grapefruit.
What was it?
It's a gourd.
Oh, it's a gourd.
Okay. A gourd.
Yeah.
Gonna have to eat that.
Follow the drinking gourd.
Yeah.
Oh, that always looked good to me, too, actually.
I'm like, yo, I want to eat that. Rafiki looks like he's just loving every minute of that.
It does look good, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when he's chewing on it, when he realizes Simba is alive, and he's like, he's alive?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And he starts, like, cracking up. That's, like, my favorite part of that movie.
God, I love that movie.
When he starts laughing, like, uncontrollably.
Asante-san, a squash banana.
Yeah, that's right. It means I am a baboon, and you are not.
Seems legit. Thanks, Rafiki.
Yeah. That's so funny. So yeah, that's our question of the week. If you guys want to be heard on this show, answer the question. Because last time we had a answer from Rachel.
Yeah.
And we read it on the show.
Do we now?
Yeah. Now let me just check real quick on Tumblr to see if we got any answers. Because I haven't checked it. Just to make sure. I don't want to go back on my word. It doesn't... Hang on. No. Oh! I think we got an answer.
Oh,
good thing I went. Good thing I went. Oh no, never mind.
Oh, you gave my hopes up.
People, you gotta answer the question. They only favorited it on Tumblr. You gotta answer it. Well, that's okay. That's okay that you didn't. But
is it
next time? No, it's not okay.
Good.
But you know, we don't want to scare them away. So. It's okay.
All right. This time.
So now this week's question is from JD. So JD, I'm gonna pass it to you.
Okay. Okay. Alright, so we talked about technology in this episode. And so I guess my question is, what do you want to see in the future? What is one piece of technology that you want to see in the future that you've seen in a show, in a movie, or what do you want to see? What evolution of technology do you want to see? So, like, do you want, like, a teleportation device? I know I do. My personal one, a jetpack. Any day now, Earth. And I'm waiting. Please give me a jetpack.
Nice.
I think that water jetpacks exist.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they do, actually, yeah.
They just don't go very far yet.
No.
But it's coming.
Very nice.
I know mine.
I think I know mine, too, whether it's good or not. It's led to be believed, but we'll see. Very nice question. So that ends our episode about WALL-E. A lot of good discussions tonight. I sure had fun.
Mm-hmm. We now have a special announcement.
We do. So this isn't a bad announcement, but it's something different for the podcast. We're going to be going on a tiny bit of a hiatus. It won't be that long. We'll be back in the fall sometime. But we really want to rethink, because our podcast, we still are a new podcast. We're still growing. And we're just trying to figure out who we are as a podcast still. So it just takes time. And we're going to be figuring it out this August. Hopefully we'll be back by September, I would guess. But just look for us in the fall. Again, nothing bad. We're not going anywhere. Nope. We're still going to be here.
Nope.
But we just need to go on a hiatus because things have been getting really hectic, and we just want to figure out how to make this podcast better for us to record it for you, and also better for you, the listeners, to know that we are coming on here and enjoying ourselves rather than feeling like it's a chore, if that makes sense. Because we do love this podcast. We don't want it to end, so we're going to keep it up, and you'll see us in the fall. Don't give up on us. Like, see, we'll still keep up on Twitter and stuff to update you guys, but this will be our last episode until the fall.
Indeed.
Yes. So things will be a little different, but hopefully they'll be for the best. We want to make this the best experience for you guys. So yes, look for us in the fall. That is our big announcement. I have another big announcement that's really not into effect until we start releasing episodes again in the fall. But it's for our SoundCloud listeners. We're not going to be releasing episodes on SoundCloud anymore. So for all you SoundCloud listeners, please tune into our Podomatic page. That's where you can hear all of our episodes. You can get an app for Podomatic for the Android, so it's just as easy as SoundCloud. So please go there. The reason we're doing that is because it just helps our statistics a little better. Mm-hmm. We have so many different outputs that we're putting the podcast to that we really don't know who's listening and who isn't.
Right.
And Podomatic, it keeps track in a very odd way, and so it would be good, like, some of you like our podcast on SoundCloud. It would be better if it was liked on Podomatic, because that helps our stats. So that's why we're getting rid of SoundCloud, essentially. So, but it's Podomatic's the same thing as SoundCloud, so yeah, you can get an app for it. Mm-hmm. So really nothing's changing. And other than that, that's basically it. You can visit us at our website at www.talkmagictome.com. That's the number 2. And you can view our social media pages on there. That's Facebook, Tumblr, and Twitter. You can listen to us on iTunes, Podomatic, and YouTube. All of our episodes are on YouTube. And be sure to rate and review us on iTunes. Because or give us 5 stars. Uh-oh. Because when you wish upon 5 stars, all of your dreams come true. In the form of this podcast.
No.
JD, we got a 5-star review last time.
Did we? Who was
We
it?
did.
No.
The Jenny Penny.
Oh, that's right. She liked us, yeah.
Did she
Listen
give us
to the
any,
end of
comments or anything?
She did.
She
read
did,
it last...
yeah. She was very, very supportive.
Alright, I'll have to listen to that episode then. Was that the last one you guys did?
Yeah, listen, it's at the end.
Okay.
So yeah, listen to that.
Doing it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you'll like that. It made us feel very special. Thank you, the Jenny Penny.
Thank you very much.
Yes, we really appreciate it.
Yes.
And that is basically it. Hopefully also, one other announcement I should make is that when we're back in the fall, I'm trying to revamp our website, so hopefully we will have a new website also, which is really exciting. So look forward to that as well. Mm-hmm. You will? Okay, cool.
Great.
That means more than anything to me. I want your guys' approval.
That's right, because I'm the best.
So, that is true. Sorry, Eric, bye. Just kidding.
Bye. Oh, man.
Okay, and that ends our episode.
Very, very good.
Yes, we hope you enjoyed our Wally episode. Again, this isn't the end for us. Please, keep connected with us. Keep in contact with us, too. Like, we're still going to be on Tumblr and stuff, posting things. So, just keep up with us to see what's going on.
You might say this isn't happily ever after.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
I like what you did there, buddy. Tied it into Disney.
I had to think about that one.
Yeah.
That took effort.
That's... Wow, JD.
A whole 10 seconds.
Wow, you see those people?
That's right.
We put effort into this podcast.
That's for you guys. For you.
To promise you that this, as JD said, this isn't our happily ever after.
Exactly.
We're not done here.
Mm-mm.
So, I can't stress this enough. Look for us in the fall. We will be back. And hopefully we will be better than ever. Yeah, that ends our episode. So from all of us at Talk Magic to Me, I'm Danielle, Disney Danielle.
I'm Prince Eric.
And I'm DJ Jazzy Jeff JD, signing out.
Bye.
We'll talk to you guys soon.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm fading away.
No.
Alrighty.
Chuck Testa.
Okay. Did you just say Chuck Testa?
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
I'm putting that in the bloopers just because it was funny. This is episode 22 of Talk Magic to Me for April.
You went back in time.
Writer and actress.
Hang on a sec. Or keep going. Sorry.
Okay. Writer and actress. I didn't know she was an actress. Oh. I want to keep this for bloopers.
What happened?
He said, "Yes, Mom."
Yeah, I don't know when I'll be done, so just
Yeah,
go on
definitely.
if you're gonna go.